Let's go to a town where history has forgotten about it. Today, we're going to the Franklin ghost town. Coming right up. One thing you need to be aware is that you have to pay admission to park here. It's gonna cost $5 and you pay it right at the entrance. And to enter, you come through here, the yellow gated road. Today, I think I'll try going to the right side of the road and see where that takes me. So the reason why we pay for parking, even though this is a state area, is because the parking lot is actually owned by a private company. And so while the Franklin ghost town isn't privately owned, it's public land, to park, you actually have to pay for the fee. So to know about why Franklin Town is even here, we have to know about the history. And the bloodline of this town was coal. In the 1880s, coal was king. And in Washington State, there was plenty of it. From 1882 to 1891, Washington State was the major exporter for coal for San Francisco. Here's the coal cart that used to carry coal from one place to another, and it has the town name here. Let's head to the cemetery. You know, this hike is really rising in popularity recently, blowing up huge on Facebook. And so I recommend you go on a weekday, maybe around 8 or 9 o'clock or so. That way you'll be able to go into this hike with a nice relaxing vibe. So Franklin was a coal mining town owned by the Oregon Improvement Company. So this company town was mainly Welsh, English, Irish, Italian, and Scottish. And this place was known as one of the first integrated towns after black miners were brought in here in the around 1891. But on August 24, 1894, this place has encountered a terrible, terrible disaster. And now we're approaching a mine shaft. So, what exactly happened in August 24, 1894? On this day, 37 miners died in a fire down in that underground shaft. This was the second worst mining disaster in Washington State history. And turns out, the fire was planned by an unknown party. It was intentional. So this place was sealed from the public for protection. And down there, it's 1,000 feet, the 1,000-foot drop. So in the early 20th century, demand for coal just wasn't as... Careful, be careful of your footstep. So in the early 20th century, the demand for coal wasn't that high anymore. And so it's failing, and the mining just became a lot more difficult. So eventually this led to the shutdown of the mine, and by 1918, the post office and the town closed its doors. And so by 1919, this whole area was vacated and not a single person remained, resulting in the Franklin ghost town as you know it. So I want to talk about the landscape for a second. As you can see, there are lots of invasive species. We have a lot of Irish ivy, a bunch of Himalayan blackberry, but there is still some native vegetation around here. You have big leaf maples, sword ferns, you have Indian plum. So this area is still alive in a fierce battle between native and invasive species. This heap of rubble may not seem like much, but this is the remnants of the PowerPoint Foundation. It was the life and blood of this company. And as you can see, nature eventually wins in the end. Whew, quite the climb. Here are the railroads. Be careful when you're out there. Here we are. The cemetery. Born in 1872. Died in 1902. Gone, but not forgotten. They feature children. Yeah, one age 5. Another died in the same year. So I don't know where I'm going now. I'm at the end of the cemetery, and now I'm coming across this road. It's a road of some sort, but I don't know where it leads to. I think it's time to head back. Let's get going. So, we finished the hike, and what are my final thoughts? If you want to taste a little bit of history, I totally recommend you go on this hike. It's kind of eerie in a way, going to a place where a town used to exist but not anymore, and seeing cemeteries. It's a cool little thing that you can find in Black Diamond, Washington State. I hope that you've got something out of this video. If you found this informative and enjoyed it, please, you can help me a lot by pressing the like button or subscribing. It would really help out a lot. But seriously, thanks for watching, and I hope that you'll be in tune for the next episode. Peace.